going to do the pledge. Okay, we are going to call the meeting to order. It is Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Born and upborn.
Okay. Do you have any minutes and reports?
I do not have.
You just lazy this week. Commissioner Committee Liaison Reports, upcoming meetings and events. So we have this a day later than normal. I get a little feistier as the week goes on.
I didn't have a whole lot on there with Easter week, just happy Easter a little early, so.
I have a Mid-Mo Regional Planning Commission meeting at 4 p.m. today and a meeting out at Public Works tomorrow.
Yes.
At noon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have Friday, there's the Pringer Advisory Board meeting, but I'm going to be out at the Ike Skelton Center for a promotion ceremony, so I won't be able to make that. And then Sunday, I'm going to hunt Easter eggs.
What size gun you use for that?
Okay, any commission comments?
I'm done.
Okay. Bids and contracts. Boy, Sir Brian made it just in time. Renewal of phone lines and DID rates for 2024-2025 with Brightspeed.
Right.
Good morning. So all this is basically a renewal of the current services that we have that extends our current pricing out for another 36 months. First document is the 36-month contract, and the second document is to keep all of our phone lines and things like that as is for another 24 months. So I would just ask that these be approved so I can get those back to Brightspeed and keep the current pricing in place. Right now it is $800 a month for our PRIs, which basically what that is our incoming and outgoing phone lines. So it's like a flat fee for that.
So that's not going up.
It's not going up.
Okay.
They're wanting to keep it the same.
Okay. Do you have something we need to sign?
I do a deed.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Good. Make a motion to sign the renewal of the phone lines and DID rates for 2024 to 2025 with Brightspeed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, go to the dentist.
Thanks, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Do we have any unfinished business? Okay, new business, accounts payable review.
Yes, I'd ask for approval of accounts payable pending review.
I'll make a motion to approve accounts payable pending review.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, signing of surplus title.
This is for a sheriff's vehicle they're wanting to sell. It's a 2019 Dodge. So they're wanting to sell that.
I'll make a motion to sign the surplus title on a 2019 Dodge vehicle used by the Sheriff's Department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discussion and approval of care leave policies. We will call on the chairman of that committee, our collector, Larry Vincent.
There was a few about the highlighted ones, so this has the highlights on it.
I got it.
Yeah, and then the actual sheet shows the
Oh,
highlights.
okay. All right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Care Leave Committee met last week to review the recommended changes in the care leave policy, and I believe you all have copies of those. We did approve those changes, and unanimously approved those to bring it back to you all for your final approval. I don't know if you have any particular questions. You should have gotten information from Sheila about a detail of the proposed changes made to the program, and then a highlighted copy of the program highlighting those changes.
Yeah, I got a copy yesterday. I didn't have the highlighted areas, so I was trying to read through it and see where the changes were.
She was scanning it from at home, and I guess it didn't scan the color, or
Yeah, that's,
it wasn't dark enough, I guess, so she just did it a minute ago.
yeah.
So and the list that she put with it, all the changes.
I don't know, there's just a lot of changes to it. I mean, there's a lot of people that donated to the Care Leave program for the original intent of it, and now we're trying to change it to aid one person that hasn't been here very long at all and for a whole different program. So I mean, if this is what we want to do to fix the maternity leave thing and not mess with the maternity leave policy, then I don't think there should be any kind of a timeline on it. It shouldn't be just a stopgap fix. I'd rather see it go as this can be for an instance like this, where we have somebody that just started, doesn't have the time. I don't know.
My assumption is,
Grumpy and old or what, but I just feel like you need to earn it. It's not a entitlement here. I mean, if you start here and you know you've got a vacation coming up, we're not gonna give you vacation leave. We'll give you opportunity to make up the time so that you can still go on vacation. We'll do things and make accommodations for people. But I don't know if this temporary fix is the way to go. If we want to make it a permanent thing, I think I'd maybe be more hip towards that. I think the people that donated to the Care Leave probably should be asked if they're okay with it, and I'd say generally they probably would be okay donating some to the maternity leave. I mean, there's just a lot of questions on this, so.
well, Jeff, obviously our goal was to put something temporary in place so the commission would have adequate time to research it and make a decision for county benefits as a whole. And this was just kind of a stopgap measure, certainly not intended to go beyond January 1st, because I agree with you to a certain point. I mean, the Care Leave was established for critical people, employees that had critical illnesses and had already used up all their vacation time and sick leave and all of that to try to help them out for a short period of time.
This is so unilateral that it's bugging me. I don't
Well-
know. Like I said, I don't know if I'm just a grumpy old man or what, but this is somebody coming in and wanting another benefit that they really haven't been here long enough, in my eyes, to have even earned. I mean, it's the same with your sick leave and annual leave. I think you need to earn it. I don't mean to be mean. I will do whatever we can to help with extending benefits or trying to accommodate them if they need to use time and give them time to make it up if they stay here. That's another question too. If you give them 6 weeks, do they have to make it up at any point, or can they just decide after they're done with that 6 weeks, you know what, I'm just gonna quit the county and I'm gonna go work somewhere else
Didn't we
and take my
address
6
that?
weeks off, so.
That's addressed
Is it in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is a
Okay.
stopgap. It is, because we've asked our attorney to adopt a policy which we will add to the employee manual.
You're gonna propose to add,
Yes.
okay.
But anyway, this is just to take care of a situation we have now. So it's not meant to be permanent, it's just meant to,
It is not, it's not accurate to say just the situation we have now, because it's the situation we have now and every situation similar to it between now and January 1 of next year.
you're right.
So it is not let's just say it's for Susie Jones is the employee involved. This is not the Susie Jones Act. This is,
Well, Sorry to interrupt, but it kind of is, because we're 3 months into the year, so 9 months from now, you're really not gonna have anybody else using it before January 1.
You don't,
No,
have
I
you?
don't know
We
that,
don't
but
know.
You don't know that.
I'm saying, I'm just saying though, that chances are, 9 months from now, it's gonna be January 1, so.
Can I throw in a couple questions here on this discussion?
Sure.
Because I'm trying to catch up. This has been such a short, rushed thing. I'm just trying to gather information and look at it all together. I have not seen Sheila's, so I don't know what those recommendations are. I did not have anything yesterday as far as 1 o'clock when I looked. But I was going through the employee handbook and looking to see how long it would take an employee to accrue 240 hours. And also with the understanding that they will lose anything they've earned after 240 hours. And it takes 15 plus years to accrue 116 hours of vacation. I think that's quite a bit. So without knowing what those guidelines are, I don't know if something is in place that can they give them 240 hours? Is there a limit? Is there a payback if we should leave the county? I mean, I fully support the intent to provide parental leave for new parents, but then I'm wondering if I'm not throwing out the employee handbook. Are we throwing it out? Is each office holder now going to create their own handbook because we're modifying the intent? So I'm confused on why I have to have my employees sign it and agree to it when they're hired new, saying that they've read it, they understand the benefit program, because you're avoiding that. So the county has a generous benefit program to choose from. They read it, they say they understand it, they sign it, and we have to turn that in. The care leave program was set up for catastrophic illness, and someone who has cancer or has an ongoing situation, they could burn up a lot of time that, to me, should go through care leave. So while I support the intent to provide this parental leave for new parents, I'm not sure I support the idea of rushing through this right now and taking it out of the care leave. There's too many unanswered questions, and I think that care leave program was set up from those people who were dedicated, worked hard for that time, that you're now just deciding, 6 or 8 people on board is deciding to use their earned hours, which is money in the bank.
We're not deciding anything. It's the commission's decision. We're
Okay.
just making a recommendation.
Okay.
And there's also limitations for catastrophic illnesses in the care leave program. It's not unlimited.
Okay. I don't have what the recommendations were, so I haven't read that. I still think that you're changing what it was set up to be, and that you're still getting away from the intent of the employee. Thank you. You're still getting away from the intent of the employee handbook, which is read and signed, that they understand their benefits. So that's my 2 cents worth, and again, I support the intent to provide parental leave. I just don't feel like we have that in place right now.
Chief Hoy, did you have something you wanted to?
I'm wondering why someone who needs it from now until the end of the year couldn't just work from home. I know during COVID, a lot of employees could. We did in our office, but I know it's possible. So until this can be resolved with a better understanding, I'm wondering why an employee couldn't just work from home and still be accruing. Because if they don't qualify for FMLA according to the handbook, they're not accruing vacation or anything like that. But if they're working from home, then they're still accruing time. I didn't know if that would be a possibility.
The new baby, it might be kind of hard to work from home.
Not all positions can work from home, for sure.
Okay, well, thank you for hearing my opinion, and that's what that is.
I mean, I'm not gonna disagree. I mean, I think the intention is well-meaning. I'm not sure this is the fix. I was trying to find out where, so how do they pay it back at the end of the time, or what's that?
It's week for week, so if they use 3 weeks, they have to work at least 3 weeks after they come back. If they don't come back, then potentially our only recourse would be to, I would think, go to small claims. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was gonna say, what do you do if they don't come back, then you're gonna,
Because obviously they're out of time, so there's nothing for me to get, out of their last check.
Is this the first time we've had someone needing to use it for pregnancy? I mean, other
Needing to
people.
use it, we've had people that don't qualify for FMLA, and they have been pregnant in the past, yes.
But they did not apply for care leave.
No.
Because they live in County Hamburg. That's my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah, good morning. I won't offer my global opinion since nobody's asked for it. I do want to, I haven't seen the updates, but it was brought to my attention that I have some sort of stake in this from one of my employees. My concern is that whatever we do today is equitable. I don't care one way or the other. But I do have an employee on the paternal side who would need this benefit between now and the end of the year. So to say that it only applies to one person, throwing a little wrench into that piece. So I don't know what the rules are. My only input is that if we are going to do something, that it be extended to the parental or paternal side of the equation as well.
That is not a part of this at this time.
They may be a part of the discussions for maternal leave within the benefit package, but yes, Larry's right, it's not in here as of that right now.
It's something that could be in the policy.
Would the policy be, my understanding is that we would not visit the policy until the first of the year, is that correct?
Hope to have it done
Before the first of the year.
adopted first of the year.
Yeah,
I
so-
have OA's policy, and I'm using that for guidance
Well,
to adapt for the county.
Sure, I mean, my concern is that.
policy's not gonna go in effect till the end of the year, though, or at
Correct.
the beginning of next year, is what he's saying. So he's talking about having something to help his employee
Correct.
on the paternal side with this here care leave.
By
Right,
September.
I understand that.
So,
That's up to
so that policy's not gonna change anything. And Jill, if we're gonna say stuff, we need to have you at the table too. I was listening to the meeting the other day.
I have nothing else to say.
Okay, but when you do say stuff, we do need to have you up here by the microphone, because you can hear it, and it's hard to hear exactly what's being said, and we need to be able to hear it. Because I was listening the other day when I wasn't here, and you definitely cannot hear it very well, so.
You didn't hear her say it was really nice not having you here.
I
did
heard
you?
saying bad things about me. No, you could hear it, and you want to hear what's being included in the conversation, so.
So I guess that's my request on record, not having seen the update, is that we consider both sides of the potential equation here.
And I think it would be fair to let everybody see all the changes that are being recommended and, see if there are other questions. I mean, I appreciate what the Care Leave Committee has gone through with this and everybody else that's had their hands in it. I just think there's some other questions to it, so.
Maybe I am confused. This is called parental leave, right? The term used here is parental leave. It's not maternal leave, it's parental leave. So there's two parents.
Our intent was just the mother.
That's correct. We did not discuss parental leave, I guess, as you're defining it.
Well,
It's not
what,
part of our discussion.
what happens if we have the two parents are like Pete Buttigieg and his companion?
Well,
It's the
One of
That they don't
primary-
count?
one of them would have to, if the one working here was the primary caregiver, then they would qualify. If they weren't, then they wouldn't qualify.
Well, I heard the term maternal, didn't I? If there is no maternal parent, there's two fathers. I don't want to get in the weeds on this, but
You're
But I am.
already there.
but I'm there.
For 3 weeks.
And I certainly apologize for not bringing this part of the equation forward. However, this is something that was just brought to me a couple days ago, so.
And if we had a single parent, a father, who is adopting his nephew because the whole family got wiped out in a vehicle, he couldn't qualify because he's adopting, it's a he adopting?
Still, if he's the primary caregiver, then he would, because adoption is in here.
All right.
Yeah, I don't think we have.
Even though it says parental leave, it does say for employees who have or are going to give birth or adopt a child.
All right.
Okay.
So we define parental as giving birth or adopting a child.
Which would cover your,
Which one's the primary and which one's the secondary? What if they're both getting primary leave, so they're getting 6 weeks at their job, or say they both work at the county, you both gonna give them both 6 weeks off?
I guarantee you that's happened
No.
in the state already. So as you can see, there are many questions to this policy and many options that you'd have to look at on a case-by-case basis, because I guarantee it's happening in the state. Because there probably could be two parents that work for the state, you know,
Well, but their policy allows for both parents
yes.
a certain amount of time.
But-
And maybe the counties will next year, but at present, it doesn't.
But
We're-
then again, a primary could be working at the county, another primary could be working at the state. How would we track that?
Well, the secondary gets 3 weeks, and the primary gets 6 weeks. So they're gonna have to decide at the time who's what.
And they decide at the time for the state, then are they gonna have to decide if the spouse works for us? Are we gonna have to get that information, or are we?
So we
allowed
have to
get
call
that
them
from the
and-
state?
Well, I
That's a
think,
discussion for your policy
Yes.
for next year, not for the care leave.
yeah, we can't
Yes.
speak for the state,
We're-
how they wanna.
Yeah.
We're addressing county employees.
But if you have somebody that adopts the child, works for the county, one works for the state, and they're both gonna get 6 weeks off?
I can't speak for the state.
yeah,
So, but I'm saying, you have to pick a primary and secondary. I guess you don't have to, if you're gonna say, hell with it, they all get 6 weeks, I'm Oprah Winfrey. You get
this
6
is,
weeks, you
this
get
is a
6 weeks, you get
concern
6
for
weeks.
the policy, not for care leave, as Larry said.
It applies here too, because I think however we do this, however we formulate this, may dictate how you wanna do the policy. So, I think this is gonna kind of preempt that, and it could set some precedent.
That's why
So-
it's gonna take a while. So that's all I was.
It's well-intentioned, but there's a lot more to it. That's just like other benefits, and Lord knows I'm not gonna bring up one thing, but I'll talk about 80 and out. That sounds great, but there's a lot of other things to it that are not gonna be beneficial to the county. So, that's not something that we bring up. We've brought it up before. I mean, we can keep bringing it all up. Let's bring up 80 and out. Let's bring up, let's do workhouse, or workforce housing. You got a problem with that? So every time somebody wants to start work here, if they want to buy a house, let's do their down payment and they can pay it off over time. So let's have a workforce fund we can put it in. What else you want to do? Childcare. Let's do childcare. There's a lot of benefits out there that we could throw in here too, but there's always going to be some other issues to deal with. It's not just black and white. And this one is showing up just like that.
Well, right now, we are discussing parental leave. So those issues,
Well, you're really just deciding if you're going to take the committee's recommendation for the changes to the care leave to include parental leave. So it is your policy. The committee's just here to make a recommendation. You guys can revamp these policies. They're yours. You can revamp them and approve them whenever you're ready. So that's,
I think we need to let everybody see it. We need to send it to the directors and share it with the employees, and I'd make a motion, we table this until next week. All right, that died.
it died for lack of a second.
I'll make a motion to adopt the care leave program presented to us today by the care leave program committee chair.
And I will second that. Any other discussion?
No, I'm tired.
Okay,
No, I'm
okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
nay.
okay.
Thank-
Thank you and your committee.
Yes,
And,
thank everybody that's
it's-
worked
it's-
on it. Like I
It
said,
is, you know, it's not perfect, but, you know, again, this is just temporary till the end of the year.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. Okay. Approval of EMS capital purchase utility trailer.
Morning again.
Good morning again.
It's been a while, but I'll recall last year, early last year, we placed on order a UTV ambulance, which is scheduled to go into production in June. And looking at the use of that trailer and how we can deploy it, it is street legal, so within the city, it shouldn't be a problem. However, if we have an incident out in the county, or if it were to be needed mutual aid somewhere, we'd need some way to transport it over an extended distance. So we did go down to Trailer Trends and spec'd out a utility trailer that would be big enough to transport this. The ATV is about 4,800 pounds, so it's not your normal side-by-side. So we did get a dual axle trailer. It's a little bit longer too. So the quoted amount is $3,775. I did have this in my capital budget for $7,000, just because we didn't know what we would actually need and what the prices would do. So
What was the price on that, Chief? Sorry.
$3,775.
Okay, thanks.
So well below budget. Just asking that you approve this today with Trailer Trends. And I do have a W-9 for our purchasing folks, but there.
And what's the time frame?
I'm not sure what the production time frame is. We'll probably have it by the fall. I'm not sure that we're going to have it for the 4th of July or the fair this year. However, those would be big time events where that piece of equipment would be very, very handy to have on hand. So.
What will pull this trailer?
So one of the reasons why we ended up going with the Chevy 1500 instead of the Tahoe for our new command vehicle gives us some increased pulling capability. And then the blue previous model Tahoes, we still have 3 of them in circulation. Those are spec'd out as specialty service vehicles, so they do have an increased towing capacity. So we do have several things that are capable of pulling this.
Okay.
You got brakes on that?
That's a good question. I do not know the answer to that because
Pulling them's usually not the problem.
it's stopping,
is.
yeah. So all of the SSV upgrades and the Pursuit rated truck that we have on order does have enhanced brakes. So it's specifically built for towing. That's what the SSV capability is.
Can we check on that? And, I mean, do you have to get it ordered today? Or is
No,
there
no,
any timeline?
if just pending, if you want the answer on the brakes, if you guys would just approve this, if we need to go back and modify it, we certainly can.
Have you all checked with any other prices? I know we don't have to get a bid out because it's under. Did you check around some other?
We did, and we were actually put on, recommended by Trailer Trends. I don't know if you've done any work with them down in Eugene, but they seem to have a pretty superior product, and because of the way they're manufactured here.
So you did get other prices from other trailer places?
We didn't get official quotes. We did check in. If you would like me to quote additional trailers, I certainly can.
I know there's at least one other one probably
Okay,
in Cole County that
Sure.
would probably be interested, and that's why I was wondering.
okay,
I don't have a problem with Trailer Trends.
sure.
I've got 2 trailers from them.
Okay,
I've been happy with the trailers themselves and the service,
sure.
so I don't have a problem with that. I got one that I'd like you to check with that I know of. I don't know if you all know anybody, because probably will get a phone call otherwise.
Sure.
I just think it's fair.
I'm more than happy, if you want me to put this off for a week and do a little bit more homework, it's not time critical, we can certainly.
I would check on the brakes though on them.
Please,
Okay.
please do that. I like the fact you're about half what you had budgeted, so I think, you know, keep it there, and I'm happy.
Okay.
I don't know how to approach it though, because you've already mentioned what the price is, so this, it's
Yeah.
kind of a bite, but let me talk to you after this and see what we can think of.
Yeah, not a problem. I'll apologize. I wasn't necessarily the boots on the ground that went out and got this quote and looked at things, so I don't have all the answers for you.
Yep, that's fine. I'm just up here to irritate you today, so,
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
know, sheriff's
That's fine.
not here, somebody needs to.
It's all good.
Today? Oh,
So we'll hold off.
Yeah.
I'll get you some more information. We can talk after this.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
okay.
So we'll just table this until next week?
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, public hearing for traffic and safety related items.
This is the easy one, right, Eric?
These are easy. Nod your head and say yes.
Good luck today.
So our Traffic and Safety Advisory Committee met last month and approved or recommended one item. Got to looking and realized that there was some from last year that did not run through a public hearing to get your court order approved, so we're doing them all at the same time today. And there's 3 items. So this is the public hearing for, it's pretty small there. Just I'll make do with it. So anytime we have a regulatory type sign that runs through the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board, we have to do a court order to officially have them as a sign in our system, and then they can be enforced by the Sheriff's Department. So that's the reason for the public hearing. We have 3 items, 1 speed limit sign on Paradigm Drive, and then 2 stop signs. Paradigm Drive, this is a road that connects from Rainbow Drive down to Pioneer Trail. Generally, in a residential area like this, we will put a sign, a speed limit sign as you enter a more major road into a smaller or a shorter residential area, just announcing what the speed limit is on that particular road if it's different than the road that you're coming off of. So at Pioneer Trail coming off of Business 50, we have a speed limit sign of 30. Up at Pioneer Trail at Rainbow Drive, it's 30. And again, just the general policy is for residential streets are 30 miles per hour. And in keeping with the general placement of these signs of a road coming off of a more of a thoroughfare or major type road, we place that sign. So recommended to the board that they approve this, they did, and so we have a court order for placing a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit sign on Paradigm Drive, and we would just need a motion to approve that recommendation and sign the court order.
I'll make a motion to adopt the Paradigm Drive 30-mile-an-hour speed limit provision.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next one is a stop sign on Peaceful Ridge at Big Meadows Road. This is a relatively newer residential area out off of Big Meadows, kind of southeast of Taos area. Zoomed in on the location, they're large acre lots. I think if it's not built out, I believe all the lots are sold. It's about 10 lots total. As you're driving down, looking east on Big Meadows at Peaceful Ridge, you can see the road off to the left. And then coming the opposite direction, you can see it on the right. Coming up to the intersection, this might be a little dated picture, but there was a street sign there. And generally, we put a stop sign on that. So this is at Big Meadows, looking at the intersection. We have our traffic safety manual that gives warrants for stop sign installation. And there's some minor sight distance concerns along Big Meadows at the approach. Big Meadows is the through road. In general, we stop the minor road at the through road, especially if it's a larger lot type subdivision that has no outlet to any other road. We'll generally put a stop sign at that intersection with the main road. And some examples of that is Country View at Rolling Road, and then also Sterling Ridge at Rolling Road. road, similar type residential areas. Country View is probably more similar, being larger lots and lesser homes. And so the board recommended that we install the stop sign, and we just need the county commission to approve or accept that recommendation and then assign the court order.
We'll do that. Yep. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the Traffic and Safety Advisory Board recommendation for the stop sign on Peaceful Ridge at Big Meadows Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
So those first two were from last year, and then this one is from the most recent meeting. This is K Avenue, request for a stop sign at Woodward Lane. The previous two were staff request. This one is actually a citizen request. And so K Avenue is a small, short cul-de-sac road out in the Woodward subdivision area, off Henwick, Rainbow Drive, Sharon Drive area. You can see Woodward Lake there, but it's just kind of east of Bender Lake area. Zoomed in a little more, you can see the intersection in question. And then you really see it here. It's kind of a skewed intersection, and you'll see in some pictures there's some sight distance concerns. So if you're on K, looking at the intersection, you can see it okay as you're coming down. You get down a little bit closer, it's a little harder to see that direction looking off to the south. Comes around a curve, and again, it's on kind of an awkward skew, and then looking back, you're turning your head quite a ways to look back down the road. You can see okay, but it's just a little bit of an awkward intersection. And this, if you're on Woodward, you're looking north at the intersection, you can see the street sign there. Might be a little difficult, especially if that tree's bloomed out, to see a vehicle sitting there. And then coming up the hill from the north, driving south, you can see that the intersection's there, but you're coming up, and maybe a vehicle might get washed out with the house there and everything else. So not the most ideal location for an intersection, especially when you have a site or a potential stop condition there. And so there is criteria for that, and in this case, we look at sight line or sight triangles of a vehicle coming or approaching the intersection and the other two legs. And the criteria for that for a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit is 130 feet. And this picture here shows where those marks are in relation to each other. And so really the worst sight distance issue is the southern one, looking at the intersection, and then looking south at vehicles on Woodward. So it definitely meets that condition right there. It also meets a more residential or dead-end type road, hitting a more through road. And so it meets those two conditions. Generally, if any of these conditions are met, we'll go ahead and recommend that a stop sign be installed. This subdivision's been here for a long time, never came up. And you don't have to put a stop sign or a yield at an intersection. If general traffic, law or whatever, if you come to a T intersection, you're required to look both ways and yield to vehicles in the intersection. So there's no requirement that you do, but if you do have a condition in which it would warrant a stop, then you go ahead and put it in. And so that's came to our attention through a citizen request. We looked at it, recommended to the board to approve that. They did. So they're recommending to the county commission to install the stop sign, and then we need a motion to approve the recommendation and then sign the court order if you wish to do so.
And the fact that this was on the agenda and we've made all the public comments, or if there were any, right? Everything is clean and green there.
We post these, public notice and all that. Very seldom do we get people to attend a meeting. There can be some more, I don't know if you want to call it controversial, but maybe a little bit bigger items. And some people will attend these meetings. We invite them if they're the ones that requested. This was pretty straightforward.
yeah.
Okay.
I sit on this committee, and we've had, a few times we've had the public who have asked for this up here, but we have engineers, we have law enforcement, we have highway patrolmen, and so I think the committee, what they recommend is generally,
Generally pretty good recommendation if it gets to that point.
Does, if the sheriff were here and I had asked him this question, does the sheriff and his deputies do a little soft enforcement for the first week or two? Or people have maybe been doing something out there for years, and now they got to.
A lot of, I'm sorry. to
Go-
interrupt.
and there-
Yeah, a
and-
lot of times, well, he was at this meeting, actually.
All
And
right.
so he's aware. It probably doesn't hurt that I just follow up with some communication, say, hey, you might go out there a little bit more, at least initially. That does happen on other items, for sure.
Right.
So,
Okay.
but yeah. And the sheriff is not a member of the committee. He's an ex officio member, so
Yes,
he can't vote.
yes,
But he,
yes.
either he attends
But he
or one of
attends,
his
but,
deputies
and,
does, too.
from the highway patrol, it's Patterson. So, I mean, it's a good committee. Very, very good.
I'll make a motion to adopt the County Traffic Safety Advisory Board recommendation for the intersection of K Avenue and Woodward Lane and install the stop sign at the K Avenue and Woodward Lane.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. While you're before, would you want to give us an update on the multimodal?
Sure. We meet regularly with the operator, and we met last week. For sure, they have one that'll be coming in. Not sure the exact date, but it'll be
Is that the right
a
one?
local company that'll start using it. And they're actually working with this company in a different location, so they're gonna move that operation to the CART facility. We got some really big potential ones, and the problem right now is trying to work through the Union Pacific. It's a process, and challenging at best to get through to that, and there's some price negotiations and things like that, so they're working on it. The main user right out of the gate will be Capital Oil, and they're expecting to come online and be operational towards the end of the year. So when that happens, they'll definitely be coming in. And I think something like that, generally, once you get a big one in there, you'll start seeing more come in. They're the one that we really hope that can come in. They're working through the issues with UP right now, so. And that could be a pretty big one. And then there's a lot of little ones here and there. I think, you're gonna need some big staples, but then having some little ones use it too could be pretty effective. Another one, this company's out of town, but with their math and everything, they can haul out of the cart rather than the current place that they're using and at a better rate for them. So, but they're right now, I think they have a 1 or 2 year commitment where they're at right now, so that one will come on later on. But the project is 95% done. We're waiting for Capital Oil to get their facility built. There's some equipment that has to be installed before that last rail gets built, because it's in between the two. And so when that's done, then we'll have the rail contractor come back in, lay the rail, and close out that contract.
Okay.
So,
Anything else?
anything else to share about stuff in general, or?
Well,
I can talk as long as you want me to.
no, we've got time.
We
so
had
I'm
a-
just,
Oh, he just got comfortable.
Yeah, I just got comfortable. Need some more coffee. Need some more. I think we had a pretty good presentation to the county or the communities meeting the other day. Kind of went through the whole litany of things we got going. Wildwood is the big project right now. It's a big scale city-county cooperative project. Unfortunately, we're running into some, I wouldn't say roadblocks, but hiccups with the Corps of Engineers and regulatory things that they now are a part of. So Fish and Wildlife, bat habitat, the whole 9 yards. So there's for sure going to be delays there.
are these Indiana bats again?
Could be more. There's other bats out there too.
I-
And so, make a long story short, a project in which you're doing clearing, and we're doing about 10 acres of clearing, if the Corps of Engineers is reviewing a permit associated with the project, they now have an agreement with all these other regulatory agencies to do a review and to include them in. So they won't issue the permit until we've met requirements under these other agencies. And so Fish and Wildlife is one of them. DNR, water quality is another. So didn't anticipate that going in. I don't think we've had one of this magnitude in which that was a factor. And this is a 2021 rule. Now, we thought we had some better news when the U.S. Supreme Court ruled against, or the Waters of the U.S. ruling, in which they kind of limited the Corps of Engineers' ability to regulate some streams that are streams but only have water in them when they rain. And so-
Ditches, you mean?
Ditches, yeah.
Yeah,
Roadway
ditches.
ditches. and everything. So, we got past some of that, which now we can do, for example, the project in South Brooks, with the detention basin and the stormwater all through there. We were waiting on their
Oh, good.
approval, but we can move forward with that one now,
Good.
finally. But the Wildwood is going to be delayed. Now, is it going to be delayed to where we do a two-phase project, bid one, bid two? Or do a project where we bid the whole thing, but phase one is up on top where there's no clearing, phase two's down the bottom. We have to get through some development agreements with the property owner and those things, so that would be at the end of the year anyway. So we're gonna meet later today with CMPS and the city, kind of figure out these things, and then probably get the city and county group that had been working on it, bring them up to speed on where we're at. So a lot of different things at play will impact when we bid the project. It's final, it's in final design right now, and it could be ready to go next month if needed. Probably not gonna happen, just with the other things at play.
Are we past a time where we can take trees down there because of the seasonality of the
And
bat nurseries?
yeah, and because of that, we would have to do the spot down the bottom. That would have had to wait till November anyway. It was always, if we bid it now, it was always gonna be a two-phase project. It was just gonna be one big project. Bid now, phase it to where we do the roundabout and tie in Frog Hollow, and then do the tree clearing starting in November, and then it would go into next year. We always knew we would have to do that. Now, it might be, well, we wait till we get clearance and then bid it at the end of the year. Which isn't the best situation, but as we're working through the developer that's interested in building, he's not gonna be ready to go anyway, so it's not gonna hold him up. The only thing you're kind of slowing down is making that connection and getting everything else done and moving on. So it just extends out the time that we gotta be working on a project. And with what we found out with, prices, costs and all that, everything's going up, so the longer you take to bid it out, things keep on going up, so the sooner the better.
And you're talking a roundabout, right, at Rock Ridge and,
Frog Hollow.
yeah. Can we do that, or is there any reason to?
I think you could just bid one project as a standalone and then bid the other. It ends up costing you more to do
Yeah,
that.
okay.
And let's say we get a 2-year delay on the other one, then you're sitting there with one done and can't do the other. And it's probably best just to do it all as one lump project. And it'll definitely, payments will tie in better. It's better to do that. Now, can we go the other way? Yes, we can, but I kind of doubt we will. It'll probably be delayed till the end of the year, but we're gonna meet later today, kind of hash out some of these things and make some decisions going forward.
Okay.
Definitely didn't anticipate this going into it, so.
Damn bats.
We also had to redesign the bridge structure over Weirs Creek because the FEMA maps changed from when we first designed it to now. So it's now longer than what it was and more expensive.
Don't let any container ships go underneath it.
Don't want to do that now.
Okay.
Speaking of that, the paper had about the port in there the other day, so you got a little bit of something going on there. That's across the river, but little action.
Yes, last Friday, we had a meeting then we went into closed session, and Alex was there, and he exited gracefully when we closed the meeting. We discussed a location. We tweaked an agreement and put it in the hands of the other party, and we're waiting for responses. That's about all that can be said at this time.
Yeah, it was kind of at a standstill for a while. I know some people were asking about it, and so.
Yes.
Okay.
yeah.
And Alex called later that same day, asking questions that reporters often asked, and I told him what I could. And he put it in the paper on Saturday, right? Yeah,
Yeah, I
So-
saw it in there, so.
right.
Other stuff, overlays, those are getting,
there's something next week. There's something next week on, what is
the
it?
overlays open next week, yeah.
Yeah.
Overlay.
We got concrete repair services, on-call contracts.
What's interesting about that is the piggyback approach to finding a
That,
contract.
that
Can you?
is the, that's the restorative seal, and we piggyback off of Moberly. And a lot of other, I think Jeff City does too.
So why is Moberly a lead dog in this?
They- When we got into it, they were already doing it.
Really?
And so
Oh.
it just, we could do it on our own, but then we gotta go through the whole process, and this is a lot simpler. And it's gonna be the same price.
Right.
So,
I find it interesting that Jefferson City and Cole County are following the lead of Randolph County or Moberly.
they're pioneers.
Because of Brian Crane, see, now that the city has Brian Crane. I don't know, I don't know.
I think we were doing it before you went there, but maybe not. But yeah, I mean, they're, Moberly's, they're easy to work with. I know their public works director really well, and it's pretty simple. If we can collaborate with other public works departments around the state, we try to do that. We got some subdivision improvement projects. Hunter's Run is getting some improvements. Arden Drive subdivision, we're fixing it up this year. Got a sidewalk job on Rainbow getting ready to bid out. Viola View, some improvements on that in advance of the overlays out there, so got a lot going on all around the county. And then one thing to kind of put on your radar, working with Forvis on the ARPA funds, and 2 weeks ago, I think we talked about the ARPA stormwater projects, and there's always a chance that we could get delayed on those through some Corps of Engineer stuff, surprisingly, or not. So what we're gonna do, we do have a stormwater project under design in Lakewood subdivision, and we're gonna have that ready to bid if that's a fallback, if these others can't go. And we can do that with the ARPA funds as long as it meets the purpose and need of why we delegated those funds. And it's a stormwater improvement project to eliminate flooding issues for residents and everything, so. But it's more of a subdivision type related one.
Can't say flood, though.
You can if it's
Can
not
you?
floodplain.
I see, okay, all
That's where
right.
we got in trouble.
Okay.
So, but yeah, will be the fallback. We're hoping we can get these ARPA projects done and out, and I know for sure we'll get some, but we want to definitely have that fallback because we don't want to run the risk of that money not getting spent. So we'll be prepared for that.
Okay,
I don't have anything else.
anything else from,
I'll make a motion to adjourn and stand in recess until 4:30 PM.
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Still waiting? Yeah. We're still waiting. We had